video yang ketiga ini, saya ingin menerangkan secara lebih lanjut lagi mengenai sejarah biogeografi. Kita ingin menerangkan bagaimana biogeografi bermula pada zaman dahulu. Okey, sama-sama kita saksikan.
Let's look at some of the reasons for the biogeographic patterns we see. Many of the similarities and affinities we see among groups of organisms in different parts of the world can be understood if we realize that the surface of the earth has changed over time. The huge land masses have moved very slowly. Before continental drift, the continents all formed a single gigantic landmass called Pangaea. But by 144 million years ago, at the beginning of the Cretaceous period, the northern continents had separated from the southern continents. The northern continents called Laurasia, the southern continents Gondwana. By the end of the Mesozoic era, 65 million years ago, South America and Africa were widely separated, and many other patterns were emerging. But while these continents are separated now, they used to be close to each other. Here's a diagram showing this Pangaea, every continent touching and together. The Cretaceous period with Laurasia and Gondwana land. And then in the early Tertiary, the continents as we know them pretty well formed. As continents drifted further apart, dispersal routes were changed. When they're adjacent, it's easy for animals and plants to move, but as they move farther apart, not so easy. This table from our book shows some of the major biogeographic events in the history of the Earth that were caused by continental drift. The continents moving was one important factor, but also changing climate over time can explain the expansion and contraction of the ranges of many groups. During the Pleistocene, the Earth cooled into a phase called the Ice Age. At this point in time, glaciers covered much of the surface of the Earth, scooping and shaping the landscape. Nowadays, we recognize these major zoogeographic regions that explain animal diversity patterns. Nearctic, Neotropical, Ethiopian, Palearctic, Oriental, and Australian. These were suggested by Alfred Russel Wallace. Nearctic includes North America, the New World or Western Hemisphere north of the equator. The Palearctic is Eurasia, the Old World or Eastern Hemisphere north of the equator. These two regions share a lot biogeographically because they were connected till fairly recently through Alaska and Siberia, and in Greenland also. And many species of plants and animals have what's called a circumpolar distribution. Both the Ethiopian and Australian biogeographic regions experience long periods of isolation. As a consequence, there are many distinctive species, genera, and families in these regions. And we can see on a map Wallace's line that explains, patterns of biodiversity. The Oriental or Paleotropical region is tropical Southeast Asia, and Neotropical Central and South America. It's interesting that the tropical Old World forests are more similar to temperate Old World forests than New World tropics are to temperate forests. And this is because there was much longer a continuous land connection between Old World tropical forests and temperate Old World forests.